Let's get more on the company's interim report. And we are joined this morning by Peter Wong, Chief Executive of HSBC Asia Pac. And Peter, as you mentioned, it's nice to sit in a press conference, I guess a results press conference, where they still keep asking you about these losses for the U.S. mortgage market. But let's talk about the Asia Pac, because that's what you're focused on. A 20% increase in earnings for that period. Do you see that kind of growth sustaining for this year?
I think this year is quite sustainable because Hong Kong has come up by 16% and the rest of Asia Pacific has come up by 48%. And as far as loan growth is concerned, Hong Kong is up by 17% and the rest of Asia Pacific is up by 24%. So the loan growth has actually, the impact of the loan growth has actually not have its full impact yet in terms of revenue. So we're hoping that it will impact for the rest of the year and then also into next year.
Okay, we had Michael Gagan, your CEO, at the press conference yesterday saying that Asia Pac is still the bedrock of profitability for HSBC with strong loan growth in Asia. So you're talking about 24% across the rest of the region. Where's the strength, pockets of strength right now?
The pocket of strength, first of all, definitely in Hong Kong. And outside of Hong Kong, we're focusing in 6 major markets: Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, India, China, and Australia. And these are the main markets that we will put our resources in and investments. So because they have the tonnage, so that we can grow in the rest of Asia Pacific.
Yeah, and what about this talk of a slowdown in China? I think you at the press conference said that you don't see a slowdown. Gagan, on the other hand, the CEO, says he could see a cooling off in the Chinese economy. What about the manufacturing numbers that we've seen lately, especially with the HSBC manufacturing numbers that we got yesterday, which actually dipped below 50, showing that there is no expansion right now?
Well, you can see that, first of all, what's happening in Europe, and that has a repercussion on the United States. And so Europe, in the next couple of years, the GDP numbers will be fairly low. And so it will affect the export of China. However, China, the government is still pouring a lot of infrastructure projects into the economy, a lot of money. And I think that it will continue. It will slow down a bit, but it will continue. And we're talking about a GDP of 10%. I would hardly call that a slowdown. Next year, we look at it. We look at China's GDP to go at around 8.5 to 9%. So I would hardly call that it would be a slowdown against 10%, but not a big slowdown.
Yeah, cooling off, according to Michael Gagan. So I guess people keep asking you, when is HSBC going to list in Shanghai? Because, we've been hearing the bank talk about it with Gagan and Stephen Green, your chairman, as well. And I recently spoke to the head of financial services for the city of Shanghai, and he expects IPOs to start next year or so. What's the timeline for HSBC?
Well, it's difficult to say. I think the most important thing is for the CSRC, which is the securities regulator, to come up with a set of rules. After they come up with a set of rules, I think that then we'll be ready. I think we have done a lot of background work already. So when they're ready, we'll be ready.
Okay, when are they going to be ready?
Well, they are saying that they are putting that as a high priority. So whatever that means.
Okay. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean this year, early next year?
Well, whenever China says they put something on a high priority list, that means that they're going to put a lot of resources behind it.
Okay, so we'll wait for that announcement that you're playing coy, Peter. You know what else I found interesting also at the press conference yesterday? You're talking about comparable, geographies across the Asia Pac. And it's interesting that HSBC says that India's growth rates will be higher than China's in the medium term. Didn't we just talk about 10% GDP growth? What are we looking at for India then?
The reason for that is that we continue to invest in China. We are building branches anywhere between 15 to 20 a year, so that will require a lot of investment dollars. As far as India is concerned, we have the branches, and we also have we're going to acquire RBS commercial and retail business, but that's not really huge investment. So India can continue to grow organically, but while in China we have to continue to invest quite a bit.
Okay, so this is about organic growth. It's not about economic growth.
That's right.
That's what so the focus for now, you would say, it's more shifting more towards India.
No, I think that both India and China are very important to us. India, in 2008, we earned 666 million. In 2009, we dropped down to 300 and somewhat million. And this first half of this year, we actually already is over 340 million in India. In China, in the first half, we're up by 24%, and that does not include our investment in Bank of Communication or also Ping An Insurance.
Yeah, so it's a growing investment then for HSBC. Okay, well, let me talk to you about, I guess, the housing sectors, because here in Hong Kong, obviously HSBC, huge mortgage provider for the market, also in China as well. When people say to you that there's a bubble right now, I mean, we've seen home prices here in Hong Kong surge about 38% since 2009, some big lifts for the mainland market as well. What do you say to them? They say, Peter, is there one?
Well, I think the important thing is that when we do our mortgages, we are very cautious. The installment that the customer pay does not exceed 50% of their income. And this is a very strict rule for HSBC. And then that will carry us well into the future. However, I do think that if the property prices continue to increase, I think that there will be some probably some delinkage between the income versus that of the loan payment. As far as HSBC is concerned, our loan-to-value ratio right now is below 40%.
So no
on our
bubble
portfolio.
then in your
Well,
view?
no, I would probably say that our portfolio is quite secure. But I would probably say that as far as Hong Kong is concerned, I think the property prices is at a fairly high level right now. But if it continues to increase, I think that it will form a bubble.
Okay. All right, Peter. Nice seeing you as always. Thank you for dropping by.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Peter Wong, who is the Chief Executive Officer of HSBC Asia Pac.